Hi everyone, I'm Laney of Design by Laney. This video is going to show you how to deal with pricing objections specifically related to stationery, like what happens if you get ghosted, what happens if someone wants to see digital files before they've paid, etc. This covers only 6 out of the 12 major objections that are covered in our course, Power in Pricing, that's launching July 24th for pre-sale. This course is over 4 hours of content, all about pricing stationery, and it's going to take you in a deep dive into all my numbers, all my back-end systems, and show you how I structure 100% of my packages for save the dates, simple jobs, more complex jobs, and wedding day stationery. So check out this video, and if you like it, make sure to click the link in the description to get on the wait list or sign up for Power in Pricing today. So, what if the client doesn't just book? No problem. I have a whole section on discounts, so I'll leave that to you later in the course, but clients often have some questions or try to negotiate or object in some way, and that is totally fine. I love objections. The first thing I want to say is to try and not take these things personally. I always like to imagine what a Target employee would do if someone said something to them that my clients say to me. A Target employee would not be upset if someone asked for a discount or tried to negotiate. And they also just wouldn't be able to give them a discount or negotiate. They don't really have that power. Target's prices and policies are set in stone by a little price tag. And the employees don't feel emotion about it because most Target employees are not actually emotionally invested in Target's sales past the point of just keeping their job. That's very different than how most of us entrepreneurs feel about our small, very, very, very personal business. But why shouldn't we be able to deal with objections just like Target does? Here are some of my most common objections and how to deal with them. You guys submitted a lot of really helpful ones, so I appreciate that. First of all, wow, that's a lot for just a piece of paper. This one is maybe the most hurtful to me, and I have a blog post linked in your workbook about why invitations are so much more than a piece of paper. The truth is, if someone is saying this to you, they're likely just not a great client for you. Yes, there are arguments you can use against it. You'll find those in the blog post, but you're most likely not going to convince this person no matter what. So I recommend just saying something polite and letting them go their own way. Something like, "Thanks for your response. Let me know if you change your mind. I'd love to collaborate on your project." 2, "I don't need anything fancy," or "I know what I want, so it won't take that long," or "I'm a designer, so it shouldn't take that long." These are all variations of the assumption that they're going to be an easy client, so you should charge them less. Spoiler alert, this is almost always the opposite of the truth. I have a lot of clients that are artists in some form. I think that's really cool. But there's this special brand that points it out first thing as a way of devaluing my expertise because of their expertise. This almost always happens for men. You can draw whatever conclusions you want from that if you'd like to. But anyway, if they are a designer and this is an easy project, then they can just do it themselves. You don't need me if it's really that easy. These people who claim to be the easiest are typically the ones who end up wanting to dictate every single aspect of your design and don't trust your vision or experience at all. This often takes much longer than clients who trust you. So sometimes I charge more for this if I pick up on it before sending a proposal. My friends Phoebe and Roxy of Pander Design Co. call it a fuck you fee. The only time the easy discount makes sense is if they will agree to more concrete boundaries. So I will sometimes offer a discount if they're using a framework of a previous suite, for instance, but that will come with stipulations on the number of revisions, the amount of customization, etc. Number 4, I'd like to see what I'm getting first. This one is simple. I require the design retainer before creating any proofs. You can see our full contract terms by clicking through the proposal. That's it. Do not do the work before getting paid. I have been burned on this one only once. It was more than enough. It's been over 3 years, and I am honestly still bitter about it. Okay. All right, number 7. We spent so much on blank. Can you give us a discount? Short answer, no. Number 10. Can I just get the digital files? Sometimes people ask for digital files, and I'm personally happy to supply these. This is another reason I love having my design fee broken out. It costs the same to design a digital file as it does to design a printed invitation. For my collection suites, I still have to fill in all their info, so I charge $100 for those digital files. Most people don't understand this and think that I'll just send digital files for next to nothing because the suite's already designed. So they end up not wanting to purchase them, but sometimes they bite. If you don't supply digital files, that's a perfectly reasonable response too. Just say no. All right, ghosted. A lot of you said you get ghosted too. You know what? This happens to us all. And there are about 50 million reasons this could happen, so you never know. It's happening especially often in the time of COVID, just because clients aren't really sure about the future of their wedding in general. So they're waiting to figure things out. If you have an idea of their reasoning, for instance, COVID or budget, you can mention that in a follow-up email. If budget is a concern, here are a couple things we can do to bring that down a bit. Or if you're still waiting on things to settle down with COVID, I'm sorry to hear that's affecting your wedding. Here are some things that my other clients are doing to stay ahead of the game. I always follow up once, about a week later, and then a second time about 2 weeks after that. If I still don't hear from them, I actually have a survey that I send to them to ask why they didn't book. And last but certainly not least is that if someone resorts to being a jerk or disrespecting you for any reason, but especially if it's because of something silly like pricing, then you don't owe them anything, including an explanation or even a response. Simply delete that communication and move on with your life to better things.